Ballot item number 25, private member's notice of motion number 15, Ms. Damerla.
The member for Mississauga East-Cooksville.
Thank you, Speaker. I move that in the opinion of this House, the Ontario Ministry of Consumer Services explores the possibility of alternative forms of dispute resolution in matters between condominium boards and condominium owners.
Damerla has moved private member's notice of motion number 15. Pursuant to Standing Order 98, the member has 12 minutes for her presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm proud to rise today in the legislature to present this motion before the House. This motion is one that reaches out to Ontarians across the entire province. 14 years ago, the Condominium Act was brought into power in the province, and it was an appropriate act for the time. It addressed many of the issues which surrounded owning a condo unit in Ontario. However, times have changed. The number of condominiums in this province has increased dramatically in the intervening time. In 2012, Ontario has become a far more urbanized and more densely populated province. More and more of us are living in large urban centers with space becoming a premium. The result has been a dramatic rise in the number of condominiums popping up around the province. Mr. Speaker, I've met with representatives from the Association of Condominium Managers of Ontario, the Canadian Condominium Institute, and of course, condo boards and condo residents. And they have enlightened me with some fascinating statistics. Over the last 25 years, condos have grown from a rarity to almost commonplace in the province. In the last 25 years, condominiums have become almost 62% of all new home sales in the GTA. Take my riding of Mississauga East-Cooksville, for instance. There are 23,000 condominium units and some 120 towers currently standing in my riding. And this is just the beginning, because according to the city of Mississauga, the downtown core of Mississauga today has a population of 30,000. By 2031, we expect that to double to 61,000, all of the growth coming from condominiums. Across the province as a whole, there are more than 500,000 units, with over 1.3 million Ontarians living in condos, with a further 34,000 under construction. In fact, condominiums are so commonplace in this province, Mr. Speaker, that I was surprised to learn that 104 out of the 107 ridings have condominiums of some form or another. Once again, that's 104 out of the 107 ridings in Ontario have condominiums. Now, I'm not here to recite statistics to the legislature, but rather to reinforce to the members present the importance of this motion. With so many individuals and families living in condominiums, we must work to address a major issue which affects all of us. That issue is, of course, dispute resolutions. On any Friday in my office, I can guarantee you there's at least one or two condominium owners coming to me because they have some problem or the other with their condo boards. And I'm sure many of you have had the same experience. If you have, then you can understand that some condo owners and their boards do not always see eye to eye. And this is what my motion wishes to address. The Condominium Act of 1998 has provisions in it for dispute resolution. Sections 132, 134, and 135 address this matter in so only it provides the parties involved the avenue of mediation to pursue. Furthermore, should a resolution not be found through mediation, then the matter is sent to arbitration. This process, as it was written, is open to both condo owners as well as condo boards. Both sides have equal opportunities to bring forward disputes over declarations, the bylaws, or agreements made between owner and the board. This portion of the Act was welcomed as a solution to what was viewed as a vacuum at that time with regards to dispute resolution. While it's better than nothing, it does not keep up with today's world, and this is what my motion today seeks to address. The problem with the current dispute resolution process today is quite simply that it is the only dispute resolution process between condo owners and boards. What may have been okay in 1998 is not in keeping with the realities of 2012. Let me put this into perspective. Disputes can range from wanting to put a barbecue on one's balcony or a satellite dish on the side of your unit to a timely disclosure of a condo board's budget, to allegations that perhaps the condo board did not go through a proper RFP process and awarded the window retrofitting to the brother-in-law of the president of the board. Disputes of all shapes and sizes, however, must proceed through the mediation and arbitration process. The end result is a time-consuming and costly process for all sides involved. The current form of dispute resolution can involve months, even years, to come to a conclusion. This as well does not take into account the fiscal cost to both sides. To properly prepare yourself to enter into the mediation process, one has to obtain a lawyer's services. And as we all know, lawyers do not come cheap. Both parties involved may result in spending upwards of $10,000 on legal costs to properly present their arguments to the mediator. And if that does not work, they will have to continue paying costly expenses at the arbitration process. As I mentioned, the costs associated with the current resolution process can make for a very unfair and one-sided process. On the one side, you can have condo owners against their boards, and some boards literally have multi-million-dollar budgets. For many Ontarians, they are unable to bring together the funds necessary to put together a cogent legal argument and therefore are unable to pursue the current resolution process. On the flip side, sometimes condo boards are required to spend unnecessary funds on legal costs to defend themselves against frivolous dispute claims brought on by overzealous condo owners. The result of the current dispute resolution process is really, it's a one-size-fits-all policy, which does not fit all needs of condo owners and boards. And this motion now speaks to the need to broaden the dispute resolution process of the Condominium Act. Do we really need a system where the process, whether you want to fight the board on where to put your satellite dish, to accusations of irregularities in the way finances have been handled, we cannot have the same dispute resolution process for such widely differing issues. A better solution is needed, and that is what this motion seeks to do. It seeks to instruct the Ministry of Consumer Services to investigate alternative options to the current dispute resolution process. I believe that this motion provides the Ministry and the Minister with the mandate to explore a variety of possibilities, especially to compare other jurisdictions to see what other provinces have done on this matter. Right here in Canada, for instance, Nova Scotia has now created a condominium dispute officer who is able to make decisions between parties on a very precise list of criteria. In British Columbia, they're looking to provide resources and education to parties prior to engaging them in the dispute resolution process so that they will know if they have a case prior to proceeding. We should examine these examples to see if there's a possible application here in Ontario. After speaking with the Association of Condo Managers of Ontario and the Canadian Condo Institute, I have been informed that this is an issue that not only affects condominium owners and boards in Ontario, but it's an issue that's across the country, and we all need to work together to find a solution. The Condominium Act of 1998 provided a dispute resolution process which was right for the time and the place. However, 14 years later, times have changed. Our province is a very different place now. More and more Ontarians are living in condominiums. My own riding of Mississauga, East-Cooksville, is an example of that. Driving through it, I'm often amazed at the level of condo development which is present in my riding. It seems every other day a new tower appears in my riding, and I know that's the case across towns, small towns and big towns across Ontario, and for that matter, across Canada. In speaking with my constituents, I often hear their frustrations with trying to resolve basic issues with their condominiums, simple disputes which they're faced with, high costs and large time demands to see resolved. It really frustrates me as their MPP to see a condominium owner come with some dispute at his wit's ends with nothing but a court solution in front of him. And typically, these people, they have 9-to-5 jobs. They do not have the ability to take on a board, particularly an entrenched board, and we need a better system. And I know, Mr. Speaker, that in this House there are other members, including the member from Trinity Spadina, who's working on the same issue, and I look forward to working with all of you to come up with a solution that vexes so many people in Ontario to try and make Ontario a better place. Thank you so much.